has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Hey there guys, I'm Manakel and welcome to my salty playthrough of Darkest Dungeon. For those of you that never heard about this game, in some universe that you live in, Darkest Dungeon is a game that was very popular, that got very popular last year, in 2015. Everyone and their dog and their mother was playing this game. It is basically I would say a roguelite game, 10-based game with some XCOM-ish elements. It really resembles XCOM in many mechanics, and it's a very, very heavily RNG-driven game, which you will see, and that's why this is gonna be a salty playthrough, because if you ever saw me playing XCOM Long War, you know I get salty a lot. So let's jump into it. You create your own, well, city basically, and you upgrade it, you get more things. So we'll see. Let's watch the second cinematic, shall we?
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So, as I was saying, Darkest Dungeon was a very popular game last year. It went into early access with quite a bit of content, actually. I was playing it, I was even streaming it, but I never did a playthrough of the game because the game was not complete. There were only 3 out of 5 dungeons, and not all heroes, not all of the content was available. So I basically was only playing it, but never finished it. The game came out as a full release a few weeks ago. I didn't really have time to play it because Diablo 3 Season 5 came out. in that time, and I basically decided to start playing Diablo 3. So this is basically going to be a bit of a delayed playthrough compared to probably what other people are doing, and a bit delayed compared to when the game was fully released, but I am hoping you guys will enjoy it. You can see this is basically a 2D side-scrolling turn-based roguelite. I would never call it a roguelike because it's not. It's a roguelite with permanent of your heroes, but you can basically hire more for free, so it's not really, there's no actual way of losing this game, let's say it like that. The only thing you can lose is your patience and basically turn off the game. By the way, the tutorial is on. I didn't turn it off because they added some new mechanics that not all of them I know, or maybe they changed them a bit, so I basically want to see if there's anything that I don't know about the new mechanics. In terms of the things that I know they added, a lot of people have mixed feelings about this game, by the way. I am among them. The game, when it came out, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, of course not all, but I'm saying in a lot of people's opinion, when this game came out, it was better than what it was after a few patches. What the creators of the game were doing was they were implementing new mechanics, but the problem I personally had with the new mechanics is that all of the new mechanics add even more RNG elements to the game. And the game, like I already said, is already heavily driven by RNG. So adding even more RNG mechanics to a already heavy in RNG game makes it really frustrating sometimes to play. You'll probably see that, like I said, this is going to be a salty playthrough. I will be getting annoyed a lot, most likely. Hopefully I will finish it. Hopefully I will not stop in the middle of the campaign because I will get too annoyed. But yeah, definitely there's a lot of RNG elements in the game. Not all of them I agree with, like I said. I'll talk about that. One of the things that I basically skipped through right now is after you kill an enemy, they leave corpses. And that is basically a mechanic that they added to make you not able to attack back row enemies with your frontline characters. When the game came out in early access, when you killed the frontline target, basically the whole line moved forward and you could attack the back row, right? The way they did it implementing corpses is that if you kill the front line, the corpse still blocks your access to the back line, and you have to either kill the corpse or you have to kill the frontline guys with dot damage. If you kill an enemy with dot damage, they don't leave a corpse. If you kill them with raw damage, they do leave a corpse. And I didn't open that chest, I didn't show you that, but I didn't open that chest because opening that chest, that chest is always a trapped chest, at least for what I always remember, so there's no point on opening it, really. And you get quirks here that are positive or negative. Of course I got a negative, because why not? So let's go to the Hamlet and I'll show you the basic mechanics and the basic things in the game.
Welcome home.
This guy is an asshole, by the way. This is the innkeeper. He's gonna annoy you a lot. I'll show you why later. So basically this is your estate, the Hamlet. You can see there are a lot of buildings. Most of them I cannot use right now. Ancestral Memory, this allows you to watch cinematics and get some like lore and stuff. This is the graveyard. This is where your heroes will lie when they die. That was nice. Stagecoach is where you hire your heroes. The first thing you have to do is increase the number of heroes available to 4. And this is a bug that I don't know if this is a bug or not, but this is something that I had happen to me a few times, and it's very annoying. The first time you start the game, you always go to the tutorial, and in the tutorial, from my experience, 99% of the times, or 90% of the times, you get enough of these. These are heirlooms. These are deeds, crests, deeds, busts and portraits, and you need them to upgrade stuff, right? From my experience, 90% of the time, when you start a new game and you go through the tutorial area, when you go back to the city, you have enough deeds and crests to upgrade your stagecoach to level 2. And it's important to upgrade it to level 2 because, as you can see, at level 2, I will be able to hire 4 heroes instead of 3. And 4 heroes is the maximum you have in a party. So basically, I will be able to hire a new party. And that's very important because after every dungeon, your heroes get stressed. And a stressed hero is useless because he can go crazy if his stress level reaches 100. You can see the stress level here at this white bar. When your hero stress level reaches 100, he gets affected or whatever, and he basically gets a usually negative effect on him, where he's either masochistic or depressed or whatever. Like, you know, basically he will often not do what you want. He will deal damage to himself. He will avoid fights. He will basically refuse to fight or stuff like that. So you basically have to reduce the stress of your heroes after each dungeon. The problem is you can only reduce the stress of them by sending them into one of the buildings that reduce stress, and then going to another dungeon with another hero, another party. And it's basically like a week basis, right? This is week 2 now, and then it's going to be week 3, week 4, week 5. So you send your heroes to one of the buildings, and then after a week they get their stress level reduced. The problem is that now I don't have enough deeds to upgrade this to level 2, so I will not have 4 heroes, so I will have to use one of my heroes from this roster again after the first dungeon, which is going to be problematic.
Of madness and morbidity.
And this is the darkest dungeon, by the way.
Begins.
You can go here even. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you can go to the darkest dungeon. Interesting. So basically you have 5 different areas. You always can go to the ruins first. Ruins, Warrens, the Worlds, the Cove, which is one of the newest areas, and Darkest Dungeon is the end. Basically, going to the Darkest Dungeon and clearing the Darkest Dungeon wins the game for you, right? I think you have to do it like 2 or 3 times, from what I understand, from what I read. But basically, going to the Darkest Dungeon is the end game and the goal of your playthrough.
Cost of preparedness, measured now in gold.
Provision for the journey.
Later,
yeah, they added nice graphics here. I like that. Oh, and they added that your heroes get thingies. I see. That's cool. Usually you have to buy your own provisions. I see they also implemented a limit of provisions for different types of dungeons. As you can see, probably this is a apprentice level 1 run. So this is for low level characters from level 0 to level 2. And it's short, which means that I will not be able to camp inside of it. But it means also that it's going to be a very, very short run with not too much content. There later are champion runs and like veteran runs. Veterans, I think, if I remember correctly, veteran is from level 3 to level 5 or 4, and later from level 5 to level 6 you have champion runs or something like that. And of course, in terms of duration, you have short, which don't require rest. A campfire, as you can see here, this quest does not involve camping. You then have medium, which have 1 campfire, and you have long, which have 2 campfires. Okay, let's go into it. And plus, the different areas give you different rewards in terms of deeds. Let's get 8 food, I think. Do we have? No. Let's take 2 shovels. Shovels are, I would say, important. 1 key. Now, the thing is, for those of you that ever played the game and are like, oh, why is he buying so many provisions and stuff like that? The thing is with the game is that The game really encourages you to not care about your heroes. The game, the way it's designed, you could see that hiring heroes does not cost you anything. You can hire them as much as you want. The only limitation is how many heroes per week you have available, and how big of a roster you have. So you basically, for the first few runs, the best way of playing is to hire new heroes, send them into a dungeon without any provisions. If they die, they die. If they survive, they survive. Get them back, get the loot, so the money and the heirlooms that they bring back. Fire them, because getting their stress level down costs. So you don't really want to, spend money on them and reduce the stress level. Fire them, hire a new group, and rinse and repeat until you get enough heirlooms and until you get enough money and stuff like that to do whatever you want. The thing is, I really don't like playing like that. That's how I usually was playing, because it's, like I said, the way the game is designed. But it's, in my opinion, it's a very, very unfun way of playing when you don't care about your hero. And that's basically 2/3 of my HP. That's cool. So I usually don't play like that. I feel it's not really a fun mechanic. Just overall not something I like to do. I don't like to play in a way where I don't care about the characters that I am using. I like to care about characters. I like to, keep them alive. So this will definitely make the game harder for me, and this will definitely make the game much bigger of a problem for me, because I'm gonna be spending money, and basically it's gonna make it more of a grind, let's say. But in the long run, I think I'm gonna be enjoying myself more. So probably should have healed him, but his stress level is already very high.
Press this advantage. Give them no
You can see that the corpses are still left here, right? If I can play him. Probably should have healed him with the healer. By the way, the combat, like I said, is 4-on-4 maximum, right? So you can have maximum 4 characters, and you can fight at maximum 4 enemies at once. However, there are bosses, there are some other different mechanics, so
as the light gains
certain bosses act in a very interesting way. Certain enemies also have certain interesting abilities, like taunt abilities and stuff like that. So definitely the combat has some variety. The only problem is, like you saw a moment ago, crits are a big problem. I just got critted there, and my character almost got one of my characters got almost one-shotted, right? Plus stress level, like I said, is also a big problem. So the only problem that I always had in, like I said, I didn't play the game for a long time, but the only problem I had with early access and after the early access released, after like 1 or 2 patches, was that they made the game a very big grind. At one point in the game, sooner or later, you're basically going to be grinding all the time. Oh, come on, you missed. You're going to be grinding a lot just to get all of the items and all of the basically gold and heirlooms that you need to progress further, which is not really that fun. Plus, additionally, there's the problem of course, your characters being mortal and dying, and if your high-level character dies, you have to level up a new one, right? But you cannot power level any character. You cannot send high-level characters with low-level characters on dungeons.
Confidence surges as the
power
enemy
level
crumbles.
But if you try to send a low-level character on a high-level dungeon, he's gonna instantly die, because enemies will basically one-shot him. So overall, the game puts you sometimes in a situation where your characters, if you lose a hero, you basically lose you don't only lose the time that you spend in that one hero, you lose the time you spend in the whole team. Because if you don't have a replacement for that one dead hero, you're gonna have to farm a full new team of other guys. Because you cannot go in 3 people into a dungeon. Which is, like I said, a bit of a problem sometimes. At least that was my problem always. That if you lose a hero, you're basically fucked in the sense that there's no way of replacing a dead hero. You have to basically farm through farm a new party to replace him. Which means that you basically, when you lose one hero, it's almost like you lose a whole pack or a whole party of heroes, especially when you are like me and you like to make combos of heroes, right? This is a trap. Different heroes have different chances to disarm traps. Of course, the Highwayman has the highest, so he disarmed it, that's great. And disarming traps also gives you a bit of stress reduction, which is also very good.
Lit. The path is clear. We
talking a
require
lot.
only the strength to follow it.
Sorry about that. Okay, let's go down here first. Another trap. Too bad I cannot disarm it with the Plague Doctor. By the way, I moved the camera to this lower corner. I hope you guys don't mind. I was trying to do it in a way where I can have the camera up, but not block too much of your vision. I hope this is the best spot for it. It does block the gold that I have in the keep, which means that you basically will not be able to see how much money I have. But I think overall it's probably one of the best spots to have the camera. If you guys prefer me to put the camera like here in the upper corner with the type of dungeon and what am I supposed to do in the dungeon and the retreat button, let me know. I'll maybe put it here. I don't really want to put it in this corner because it's like all of the stats are down here, and if the camera is going to be here, it's going to be, I think, distracting, similar to this corner here. I always think this either the lower left corner or the upper left corner are the best. So if you guys feel that the lower left corner is not the best, let me know in the comments, and for the next episode I'll move it up. But I think having the scout, basically having the mission type with the objective and the retreat button and everything visible here is more important to have this visible in missions than having the amount of cash that I have in the keep visible between missions, because like the amount of cash that I have is irrelevant really. You almost always have enough cash to do some basic stuff, and if I will not have enough, I'll just say, oh, I don't have enough, right? I think the most important thing is the combat part of the game, the actual turn-based combat, not the city management or heirloom or estate management, let's say. When we will get a bit further in the story and in the game, you'll probably see some similarities to... Okay, I reduced the stress level on him and I healed him. You basically, one of the things that you need to learn is what interactions are good and what interactions are bad, and what interactions do what. That's one thing that I still don't remember fully, because first of all I didn't play for some time, and second of all I always forget stuff like that. But there are basically certain interactions that
the match is struck. A blazing
different
star
items that
is
you
born.
find during the missions can give you different effects, and depending on what items you use on those objects, they also have a different chance or a different effect on them. For example, one of those shrines, if I remember correctly, if you use them normally, it gives you like a % chance to either get debuffed or get buffed. So you either get a damage buff or a damage debuff. But if you use a holy water on it, it heals you and reduces your stress level. Now I could finish the dungeon already because, as you can see, I have the quest completed. I explored 90% of the rooms, but I want to go to the last room and see what is there. Maybe there's gonna be some reward here. Oh, I didn't explain the hunger system. The hunger system is a bit of an annoying part of the game. I really never enjoyed it that much. The basic idea is you take provisions on your expeditions, and at random, completely random moments in the expedition, in every quest, like this, in every mission, your characters may get hungry. And then you get that prompt telling you that, asking you if you want to heal them, or if you want to eat, or if you don't want to eat. If you starve, you take damage. If you don't have food, you also take damage because you starve. If you eat, you heal a bit of HP and you continue. The only problem with the hunger system is that it's completely random to when oh, I cannot hit the back row, huh? That sucks. It's completely random to when it happens. So you may have it happen twice in a row, for example, in 2 rooms that are one after the other, or you can have it not happen for multiple rooms just because the game says so, which is a bit annoying. Similarly, you can make your characters eat whenever you want, and it basically works as a small, let's say, healing potion. For it basically heals you for like a fraction of HP, like 2 or 3 HP maximum, right? So it's not really anything to write home about, but you can, if you want, use it as a like insta heal. The problem is that even if you use the food to heal your character, you can still get a hunger event. Great, crit for 10. That was good, because I already was getting a bit salty that I may lose this hero, this character. Even if you use your food to heal your character, you can get a second afterwards a hunger event as if you didn't use it. So it is a bit frustrating, at least for me, that you keep provisions, but using provisions on your own when you decide you want to use them doesn't affect, at least it didn't. Maybe they changed it, I am not certain, but from what I saw with the random hunger event, it was as it was earlier. So even using food during on your own terms when you decide you want your characters to eat doesn't change the fact that you can get a random hunger event a moment later as if you didn't use it, right? So it is a bit frustrating that way. It was at least a bit frustrating that way, and I kind of feel that probably did not change.
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
And now we can finish. But yeah, like I was saying before I started about the food system, because the hunger system, because I wanted to talk about that. During your expedition, you will find the random items, and learning the interactions of what item does what, and what are the chances of getting what result is basically a core part of the game.
Our family name
Negative quirks,
so
yes,
well
we know.
regarded,
So basically,
barely
certain
allowed by decent folk.
certain interactable objects have a quite high chance of giving you negative quirks, negative debuffs and stuff like that if you don't have special items for them. Some of the items are basically, you should never touch them. Like some of the interactables have such a low chance of actually giving you a positive bonus or buff instead of a negative that you probably should never touch them. but that's gonna be, I'm gonna be explaining that as we play. Now that we did our first mission, we unlocked the Abbey.
Cobwebs have been
This is
dusted,
basically the
keys
religious
set straight.
place where
The Abbey calls
our
to
heroes
the
can
faithful.
reduce their stress level, so we can send our heroes either here for the religious of them,
Fresh
or
cans,
we can send them
cards,
into the
and
tavern
curtained
with the
rooms
bar, gambling
promise
hall, and
solace
brothel
to the
for
weary
some
and broken
pleasures
alike.
of the flesh. And of course, the caretaker is. Did I call him late earlier? The inntaker, whatever. He's the caretaker. He's the not nice guy that you're gonna see a lot at the graveyard. But he basically sometimes uses up certain rooms. You can see that we will be able to unlock up to 3 slots, let's say in the bar, gambling hall, and brothel, similar to maximum of 3 slots in the Abbey, the cloister, the transept, basically where they pray, and the penance hall where they do not nice things to themselves. Sanitarium is something we'll unlock later. Like I said, I'm gonna talk about all of the stuff later as we continue. What quirks did we get? We got Bad Gambler, so we don't want him to gamble, so let's just send him here. I don't know. First, let's see what heroes did we get. We got a Leper, we got a Houndmaster, and we got a Jester. So, I feel that we are gonna be using the healer again. And yeah, we're gonna be using the hero again as a addition. Although, to be completely honest, I think I'll do it like this actually. Even though this guy is not really meant for front row fights. And now we can, next time we're gonna get 4 of them, right? So that's gonna be a bit better. The Leper is a fun class, I would say. I actually like the Lepers a lot. He's basically like the frontline, tanky, heavy hitter that can only hit the first 2 targets maximum, and has very low accuracy. Like, you can see that he's even using like a broken Rasta Executioner sword. It's basically like a broken claymore or shit, like only the hilt, right, almost. So he's quite interesting, and he's like, whenever he takes damage, he he bounces chest forward, so he gets hit even more effectively. Like, he likes taking hits. But like I said, all of these things will get unlocked as we progress to the game. Now I'll just send the Witch Doctor here to reduce his stress level, and we can send our heroes back. But that's going to be in the next episode. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this first episode. Like I said, in terms of the camera, if you would prefer me to move the camera to a different spot, because here I am blocking, I have right now like 9,500 gold. I am blocking that side for you, but I think this is better. I think it's better to have it in the lower corner here. So for combat, for the actual gameplay, I'm not blocking anything important. Then block something in-game important during the missions, during the turn-based combat, and show you some, you know, shiny coins in the estate mode, where it really doesn't matter at all. So thank you for watching again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a comment if you did. You can also leave a like. If you want, you can also write me your nickname in the comments, and I can rename one of the characters after you. That's one thing that I didn't talk about. You can rename your heroes. So if you guys want to have my heroes die with your name on them, just leave a comment and I will rename them after you. And again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.